From digital brushstrokes to blockchain scenes, artists unite where creativity leans. Upload your vision, let the pixels collate in a world where your art can truly appreciate. Find your inspiration at Pixel Palette and NFTs. NFTs in the making, artist collaboration. From your mind's eye to digital installation. Craft your legacy through unique creation. Sync up, link up in this artist collective, where every piece sold is crypto protective. Your art's not just viewed, it's a sensation, turning pixels to gold in the new art nation. Find your inspiration, where art's not just fiction, at Pixel Palette Nation, where creativity's conviction.
From digital brushstrokes to blockchain scenes, artists unite where creativity leans. Upload your vision, let the pixels collate in a world where your art can truly appreciate. Find your inspiration at Pixel Palette Nation. NFTs in the making, artist collaboration. From your mind's eye to a digital installation. Craft your legacy through unique creation. Sync up, link up in this artist collective, where every piece sold is crypto protected. Your art's not just viewed as a sensation, turning pixels to gold in the new art nation.
Pixel Palette Nation, news and open discussion. We've got some pretty cool things today. Everything from King Charles' new weird painting being released. It's so much red. Eurovision. The SEC pulling new kinds. No, I'm just joking. It's not new. It's old kinds of shenanigery. What can you say? They're a one-trick shenanigery pony. Solana devs stealing stuff. And then some Web3 games. Some art world stuff about, smuggling and things. Some good stuff. Some weird stuff. But news nonetheless. So thank you for tuning in, whether it's live or through a recording. What up? Go subscribe to our YouTube. It's great over there. What is up, Longshot?
GM, what is going on, baby? How you doing?
Oh man, enjoying some good tea. Getting that awakeness in me.
Oh yeah. Yeah. No, I hear it. I hear you.
Link out. Doing the use.
Getting the pens up, baby. You know how we do. It's another day in the pixel hood here. Don't you laugh at that. Don't you laugh at that.
The pixel hood. What up, brah? You don't know what we gotta go through here.
You don't know it's a hard knock life for the pixels out here, right?
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm fucking little orphan Annie of the NFT space in this bitch.
Yeah, I mean, no judgments here, buddy.
Oh goodness.
What's going on, PJ? Thanks for hopping in, brother.
What up? How you doing? We're talking about Little Orphan Annie and apparently how relatable that is to our current situation. The usual. It's a hard knock life for us. It's a hard knock life for us.
I only see the Austin Powers remake of that every time I hear this song.
Oh my god, the best. Austin Powers. Austin Powers and Undercover Brother are the best spy movies ever. Hands down.
Undercover Brother is fantastic. I'm definitely going to have to go back and rewatch that.
I'm still remember whenever he ate the mayo. He was like, "My goodness, I would never do and involve myself in such proclivities as you guys are doing right now." And I'm just, oh my goodness. DJ, what up?
There you are. No, sorry. The second you brought me up as a speaker, and I was getting ready to unmute, my dog goes ballistic because somebody rings the doorbell.
Oh, PJ, you actually need go check the WhatsApp chat. You're gonna love this patch. Jamie made this patch for a contest, and they're actually commissioning it as the official patch for her entire squadron. Like all through base and everything, and they're making shirts and everything of it. It's really cool.
Yeah, that's nice. I just saw. That's fantastic.
Right? Yeah, she did that all by herself, like detail. It took her weeks. Thought it was beautiful.
Well, I got you guys here, and there's nobody in here right now. I want to tell you something. This is between the three of us. I'm so excited. I'm working right now with Johnny Rockets for putting my art on their stuff.
Why does Johnny Rocket sound hella familiar?
Johnny Rockets hamburgers, cheeseburgers.
Oh my god! Oh! Dude, that's absolutely crazy.
I know, right?
I remember my friend told me about this place. He loved them, but he's from Georgia. So I never, I don't think I ever had Johnny Rockets, but I remember it being quite a big deal from all the people that came from Georgia about it, and that's it. But that's cool. My goodness, I love those old like 1950s greaser kind of memorabilia restaurants. Piece of Americana right there.
Yeah, kind of crazy. I mean, it's still very early, but it's like how awesome. Just
man, congratulations. Awesome. Like no matter
nothing
what.
Nothing yet. So I don't know if there's anything to be congratulating. Yeah, I'm waiting. I'm still hopeful. There's a handful of them in Arizona. There's not many in Arizona. And so that's one of the things I'm trying to do is I've got one that's interested in, because they're independently owned in that sense. They still have to follow a corporate guidance, and they can't do certain things because unless the corporation says they can, but there's certain things they can do, such as if they had art for their facility, that's all game.
Oh man, I wish you the best of luck. That's just absolutely incredible, truly.
So if I can get that to happen, that would be just amazing. It would just be amazing for me. So
well deserved. Jesus, great. I mean, honestly, yeah, dude. I'd keep us updated on that by the minute. That's amazing.
I think in Arizona there's only, let's see, 1, 2, 3.
Is there one in Phoenix?
5, 6, 7. Yeah, there's 7 total in all of Arizona.
Man, I'm honestly pretty bummed that I never got to go. I never found one of those while I was there.
Well, there's a brand new one that's being built, and that's kind of how it came about. Long story, but it's just because it's a new one and it's cool.
Let's see if they are in Chicago. Let's see. No, but they're in Gurnee, Illinois, so pretty close-ish. I don't know. How far is... Let's see.
Gurney's up by Wisconsin on the... It's north of Chicago. It's probably, I would say, an hour and a half from Chicago, maybe?
Worth it. I'll go there whenever I'm there. I'll drive an hour and a half for some dope burgers.
Well, that's where the Renaissance Fair is. The Renaissance is just across the border past Gurnee. Go through Gurnee, and as soon as you get into Wisconsin, it's like right there, Sterling, Wisconsin or something.
Ah, that's cool. Love Ren fairs. They're the best. All
Yeah,
right,
PJ.
time to.
Congratulations, man. That's fantastic. Keep pushing.
Well, that's thanks, man. I appreciate it. That's all I'm trying to do is just push and see what happens, right? I got bummed because I did not get selected. I'll be honest, I'm a little bummed today because I didn't get selected as one of the selected people for the coffee selection. They had 3 artists that were awarded, and I didn't get it, and I was like bummed. Damn it! I'll just keep working though.
Yeah, that's right. There's always the next time, right? And you just keep getting better. You keep getting better until the next opportunity shows up. That's the
Keep
best
working.
way to look at that.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Hey,
All right. Hey, Glencore, thanks for popping in here. But let's get this news thing rocking here a little bit. Thank you guys for joining. Please go down, hit that little like, retweet button down there. Let's get some more people in here. We're also streaming live on YouTube. If the two of you in here aren't already following, please go drop a follow over there. We're trying out some new tactics, and it's tend to be working. But yeah. Thank you guys for being here today. And Gray, you wanna take us away?
Yes, so I'm going to start it off with just a little bit of tidbit of information. King Charles' new portrait was just revealed. Personally, I think it's a bit weird. Art may be subjective, but it's literally entirely red except for his hand and his face. So it ended up having this off-putting feeling in my opinion. So something to definitely look at. I'm always interested whenever these really important figures get their likeness on canvas, because they usually are really beautiful pieces of artwork. But this one I don't think is going to be remembered as such. I truly think that they tried something very different and ended up with something that just missed the mark by a hair, because it looks like it could have been something absolutely spectacular, because I love the shades of red used in it. Really beautiful if you ignore the purpose of the painting, but they just needed to add some more depth to it, to be honest. Now, moving past that, we actually have something that personally I've always loved following throughout. I would say I really only started getting into it for the past 10 years, and that is Eurovision. Eurovision, for those that don't know what it is, huge musical competition for all of Europe. These obscure or large pop bands get up on stage and they create these extremely intricate dance, song, and number routines that, I mean, guys, no matter what ones you really look up, they're either crazy left field ridiculous or absolutely works of art, but no matter what, they are amazing. And right now, we're actually going to be celebrating that some Swiss fans went wild when they found out that one of their artists won, and that is Nemo. Nemo won the 68th Eurovision Song Contest with their song "The Code," an operatic pop rap ode to the singer's journey towards embracing his non-gender identity. And he is pretty much, sadly, apparently his trophy just like completely shattered for some reasons. And I didn't get too deep into that, but they kind of just made a funny joke about it. And they were like, hey, you know what? It happens, but I'm still proud that I won this for my country and for, the absolute honor that comes along with it. Because that's a major bragging rights. You don't win Eurovision on a fluke. It is truly a really huge competition. I think it's fun. So I would say definitely go check out their performance with The Code. Go look at some interviews. They definitely deserve some pretty intense applause for their performance and how awesome they were just in the acceptance of it all. So shout out Nemo, Swiss fans out there. Congratulations! Can't wait for the next Eurovision to see what comes out from there. Now, it wouldn't be art without theft. I don't know what the entire thing can be summed up as far as art history goes, but it can be almost summed up as great artists create art, great art gets stolen, stolen art sometimes pops up decades later, just randomly for some reason, or on eBay. But an American Museum of Natural History curator got detained in Turkey on smuggling claims. So they were detained for allegedly attempting to smuggle spider and scorpion samples from Istanbul. And I see a little twist there. It ain't even the art. It's spiders and scorpions, because we definitely need to spread those everywhere, because apparently there's a new giant orb weaving spider that creates on average 6-foot ornate golden hued webs that are spreading across America right now, that originated in China. And yeah, so just, hope you guys enjoy that. They're all over the East Coast already. But the curator said he had government permits to conduct research. Arachne expert Lorenzo Prendini tried to take roughly 1,500 samples out of the country when he was held by police at the Istanbul airport. The species in question were originally found in Turkey. So a quote is, the police completely ignored this and relied on the testimony of a, quote, expert who has a conflict of interest with my collaborators and whose scientific research is highly questionable. The police have completely violated due process and appears that they would find me guilty in the court of public opinion. So art thievery is making a new brand change into scorpion and spider thievery. Pretty bold, if I do say so myself. And I wish him the best of luck on this, because this is definitely going to be a weird one. But I will take a second, because I know Glencore just got brought up, and I think you probably have some opinions on Eurovision, I'm assuming. What's up?
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah, I just wanted to say, did you see the Irish entry? Because obviously...
No, I did not.
Oh my gosh, bloody awesome. Like, a bit controversial, a bit nuts, but I think just so Irish, so pagan, so I fucking loved it. Sorry for cursing.
No, that I usually the Irish ones are insane, because I remember I think it was either last year or a couple years ago, they did a completely like Gaelic song that was so steeped in history and cultural.
Yeah, like it's mad. Like it's not just about the song. You can have the most beautiful song, but it has to be a performance as well as it has to capture other nations. Because a lot of the time there's kind of like the Nordic countries will vote for each other, England, Ireland to vote for each other. Stuff like that goes on. But then when you get like a really cool thing, everyone just, I love when those years when something just blows everyone out of the water and they all vote for it. And so, yeah. And we've had some beautiful entries. But yeah, this year's was a bit controversial, but I loved her energy.
Yeah, I just found it, Doomsday Blue.
Afterwards, but I still think she's awesome. She's such a brilliant performer. Like, people don't get it, what she's like. They're like, oh my God, she's the devil. Like, she's a performer. Like, she's brilliant at it. Like, she puts her heart and her soul into it.
That's a dumb insult, because Eurovision performance, since it was started, had some pretty, like, devilish, pagan kind of performance-esque things in most of them.
History
it's just part of it. I feel like that one of my friends actually compared Eurovision to the Hunger Games, because they said that they were like, a lot of what is decided for winners or how to vote is truly put truly not by the song's content, but by the performance itself. And I was like, that is genius because it reminded me of Katniss, with the flaming dress and the whole, extravagance entrance and everything like that. And it really is. It's a performance based contest, but you get the craziest thing, honestly. And I'll live and die on this comment. The Will Ferrell movie Eurovision does a great job
I
at capturing it. You haven't?
That happened actually, and I'd ask your opinion about this in the Eurovision. Like there was a lot of, I think there were some countries who didn't partake because of Israel and all that. But I think when it comes to art and music, that's your opportunity to, get in and say, in a peaceful way, we're not happy with this.
Well, whenever it comes down to that, I actually really understand, because if there's one thing about art and music that is carried through all generations and all time throughout history, is that it is always inherently political in some way, shape, or form, or has some sort of message to it. And I'm not saying that as an umbrella to all art, but I'm saying as far as like art culture,
it can be used. Yeah.
Yeah, and so I mean, you're seeing like lately, Burning Man just took down some art about watermelon art that was about Palestine. Sotheby's and Christie's got some heat because they were putting up some pro-Palestinian art, and then they had to, and then a lot of artists protested that. Then in addition to that, there's the, I think it was one of a major American Museum of Art History, I think it was. They also came under fire because they put up some pro-Palestinian art, and then in addition to that, one of the largest art exhibitions this year found backlash from all like a cohort of Jewish artists because they had a Palestinian art exhibit as well, and so they all kind of like protested it. And so it's one of those things where I think it's impossible to look at art and not expect some sort of political ideation or leaning.
Yeah, like it's the one place
subjects.
you can express yourself.
Yeah.
Peacefully and not hurt anyone, and as long as it's not like a call for hate. Do you know what I mean? Like.
Yeah. There's
Even if they got up on stage and danced around with peace symbols, what could they say about that?
Well, what was it? I always forget the name of it, but it's a film festival held in Europe or the Middle East. I was sorry for people listening to this. It's just such a brain fart for me. But Israel just detained a film artist because of his movie that's about to appear, and it has a whole bunch of Israeli and Palestinian conflict subjects just like strewn throughout all of it. And it's and a lot of people are looking at a lot of these things, and you tie them together, and ultimately you get one thing. It's art. It's always subjective. It always has some sort of message, whether it's about society or personal struggles or happiness or family or politics. No matter what, there's always some sort of reason behind it. And
it's like
it's to be expected. Whenever people are shocked that political art gets backlash, I always laugh because I'm like, that's the point. That is the entire point of political based artwork, is to create some sort of like, yeah, exactly. Like it's supposed to have a reaction. It's inherent that the point of the art is to make sure people are invoking emotion about the content, about the context of it all. Yeah. So I think that's one thing that a lot of, it's impossible to avoid in art, and a lot of people are blinded by their own political agendas to realize that if they saw art that was pro their side of things, they would kind of laugh or enjoy it. Well, whenever they see the opposite side being done the same thing, it's human. It's something common with all humans. We're going to love what we love and hate what we hate because of the unknown or we don't understand or we don't like or anything. So there's always that kind of hypocrisy going on. I don't think that's going to die out anytime soon, but it's important that that power of expression, especially through art, is always kept true. But at this point, it is what it is. We can't ignore it. We can't condemn it, because without it, our art would, be hollow. So, oh well. I'm glad that people are still getting out there and expressing their opinions, even if I disagree or agree with them.
Yeah, and even like the poor artist that was for Israel, she got booed on the stage, which I thought wasn't fair, because
Yep.
She is not her government,
Exactly. And that's the thing.
And
we're just going to have to...
Israel are in this competition for years and years, so it's not just that they were let in this year. So if you had a problem with this year, why didn't you have a problem with all the other years, So I just felt she shouldn't have been booed.
I agree.
Some people should have been allowed put up their peace signs or saying whatever, or sing a song about peace. And she should have been allowed to do her performance in peace as well. So, sure, look. But anyway,
exactly.
The Irish entry was the best, in my opinion.
I will watch it after the space. I'm really excited to kind of get into it. For people that are listening in, it's by Bambi Thug. It's called Doomsday Blue. And you can find it everywhere. Google has it all over. Quite, just from the thumbnail, it's quite the performance.
Yeah, so. And even I can see remnants of Enya and Sinead O'Connor and just other bits of Irish culture in it, you know what I mean? So it's just, I love it. I'll stop going on now and let you go back to the news. Sorry, that's...
I don't know. It's all good. This is why we're here. I love this kind of stuff. Also, shout out to Sinead O'Connor. Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. So now the AI stuff. There's quite a lot of stuff going on with AI right now. And overall, there is a huge update coming to Gemini. And whenever I say huge, this thing is a complete, all-encompassing update that is making Gemini, the goal of it anyways, to be your best friend for all things in life. So one of them is they dropped Project Astra, which is literally an AI agent for everyday life. So it's essentially Google Lens on steroids and just extremely impressive. And it's able to understand, reason, and respond to live video and audio. So it was people that go to this article, there's a demo of a live video that shows the whole thing. It's very, very cool on how they're trying to pretty much upgrade this across the spectrum on this. Now it's not going to be rolling out immediately. It's going to try to get out late 2024 or maybe a bit afterwards. But even then, maybe even not. This is a huge update. They're trying to make sure that this is perfect, considering, some launches in the past with their AI hasn't had the most smooth entry on the runway, but it has always turned out to be great. Now, this update also includes some really cool stuff for Google Photos. And whenever I say that, I mean it's everything. It's Googling, you can type in hey, daughter in pool, and it pulls up your photo immediately right there. There's always some stuff like that, obviously in iPhones and whatnot, but they're trying to make this even better. And they're dubbing this feature Ask Photos. So you can ask it for a license plate, and Photos will be delivered an image showing it and the digits and characters that make up your plate. Similarly, you can ask for photos of when your child learned to swim, along with more specifics, and it will make the most disorganized photo libraries a bit, easier to search, which honestly helps out a lot. For people like me who don't take photos, not really going to affect my life. But for my wife, who has roughly 10,000 photos of everything in her phone, that's going to be a lifesaver. So, for those photographers out there that love snapping a photo from friends to daily life to everything, or the 1,000,010 photos my wife has of our cats, it's going to be wonderful. I'm excited for it. Another one, it's going to be upgrading and helping kids' homeworks with Notebook LM. So essentially, it helps convert any sort of like teaching modules into podcast type videos and audio files, which people like me, I love that kind of formatting stuff. I can listen to it while I'm doing things. I can watch the video that kind of incorporates the subject matter into the audio. It's beautiful. There's a lot of other updates rolling out with this, like searching Google with a video, and it's also going to be taking on Sora with its own video creation tool called VO Video. And then also pretty much the Android itself, the phones are going to be getting an entirely huge Gemini infusion to its daily uses and apps and everything like that. And they're also pretty much incorporating all these updates into Google Workspace. So we're really starting to see a lot of this AI technology being condensed to upgrade current technology and bringing it in to the to the new wide world as new, shiny, and polished tools. Love seeing this kind of stuff. Kind of excited to see what happens. I wonder if Netflix is going to somehow incorporate it. It'll be interesting. I don't know why, but that kind of came to mind. Now, moving on from that, we've got some Web3 news, and again, we've got some Nordic news. You can now invest in a Bitcoin fund and earn yield in Nordic countries. The new yield-bearing Bitcoin fund offers more than 5% return through a secure staking via Bitcoin-powered core chain. So Canadian financial tech firm DeFi Technologies announced Tuesday that its subsidiary Valor has launched what it's called the first ever yield-bearing Bitcoin exchange-traded product, ETP. The company exclusively told Decrypt that investors will get exposure to Bitcoin and earn a 5.65% yield, provided those investors are located in its Nordic markets. Quote, "We are thrilled to introduce the world's first yield-bearing Bitcoin ETP, offering investors an unprecedented opportunity to gain exposure to Bitcoin while earning a substantial yield. Valor Bitcoin Staking ETP embodies our commitment to innovation in the digital asset place." And in all honesty, even with its 1.9% management fee, this is huge. This is just like whenever Fidelity started allowing people with 401ks to allocate a total of up to 20% of their investment fund to Bitcoin. I think that was back in 2020. These kind of investment opportunities, whether it's ETFs or ETPs or 401k contribution allocations, these things move mountains slowly but surely. This is a massive step in the investment market space. It shows a wider acceptance to Web3 investment and its viewing and its perception being changed from some magic internet money to an authentic asset that can affect your end goal retirement. So ultimately, maybe it might just be in Nordic countries right now, but that's how it all started. That's how it all starts in these small things, right? So really start looking out for this kind of stuff. And if you're wanting to make, do a little bit more research on it, man, Google is your best friend. Google this stuff with, like I said, this is Valor. It's a subsidiary of DeFi, of the Canadian financial tech firm DeFi Technologies. They put a lot of videos and articles out about this. It is wonderful to get into because this is something that's going to be spreading like wildfire, relatively speaking, throughout other financial markets in the years to come. So big step for Web3, big step, as far as integration into Web2 technologies and accessibility. So good on them for making that huge step. Now, something that we don't touch on often in this news is Web3 gaming. But it's not really any towards any bias for or against it. Just we haven't. However, some major stuff is happening. Ethereum strategy game Ape Iron reveals $1 million esports championships. Players could win their share of a big prize pool as part of a tournament in Hong Kong for the Ethereum and Ronin strategy game. So, Ethereum trading card strategy game Ape Iron has announced a huge $1 million prize pool for its very own championship. And Ape Iron Guild Wars 2024 will see the top 12 guilds, the Ronin Network's game version of a clan, battle it out and reach the in-person finals, which is slated to be hosted in Hong Kong in Q3 2024. On this stage, players will showcase their skills for a share of the sizable prize pool. As said, total of $1 million. So a lot of stuff on the line right there. Now, quote, fostering a competitive scene for Ape Iron is crucial. Frank Chang, CEO of Ape Iron Developer, said, by cultivating a competitive environment through tournaments and live streams, we not only keep existing players engaged, but also drive mass adoption by showcasing the game's depth and excitement for a broader audience. And honestly, this is genius. This is exactly what we saw back in the 90s. Late 80s and throughout all the 90s and early 2000s, whenever it came to Yu-Gi-Oh! And Pokemon, Magic the Gathering, these kind of card games did huge, extravagant tournaments down to small, simple ones all over the world. It was massive whenever it came to the marketing success of these. It made people tune in and be like, man, what decks are being played? What's the meta? How is this game even, how do I understand what the moves are? Things like that. It brought it to a huge competitive market. You get some kids and tell them, hey, if you're good enough at this card game, you can get paid to do this professionally. It was the same effect whenever streaming video games started coming out and people started being YouTube millionaires by showing people how good they were at Call of Duty. It brought a great interactive audience to the market, and with a lot of focus on that game or that individual. Either way, it brought eyes to the game itself. So honestly, this is going to be great. Another quote from it, if you look at Web2 esports, it's been challenging to find a way for it to be sustainable. Lately, a lot of stuff like that has been put into question. So from our perspective, our robust Web3 tokenized economy completes a positive feedback loop with our competitive scene. Honestly, yeah, adding that kind of stuff really could be an interesting addition to the streaming and gaming community. PJ, what's up?
Yeah, cool. So, I love that you're talking about the gaming stuff. That's always great stuff for discussion and news. Because that's it. I don't even know the figure, but if you look at all the zeros that are associated with the gaming industry, with a large figure in the front of that, it makes sense that this becomes a natural progression, right? Is that more and more adoption of gaming and Web3 I think there's going to be a great synergy there, right? I mean, I've been following. I'm going to name drop a couple things real quick. One is like the Gods Unchained platform. I've been playing that thing since, I don't know, for the last couple of years, and it's same thing. It's kind of Web3 chain information so that you can your cards are tracked and they're actually specific rare. I'm going to mess up that word, and it's going to be recorded forever. Rareable is the word I'm going to use of the type of card it is. But anyways, there's things like that. And then there's other platforms that are coming out like Passage and the Passage token, which is actually part of the Strange Clan. And the Strange Clan is a fantastic gaming system, gaming environment. And that's built on the Cosmos environment. So when you look at it, it's not just your layer ones, they're developing layer two gaming. It's really come a long way, and I've been part of that group with the Strange Clan since the day they minted, which was probably almost 2 years ago now, and that was all done on Atoming the Cosmos network. So it's interesting to see that the adoption and as far as gaming goes, here in Arizona, all three universities. Well, I think one of the universities just dropped it, but they all had NCAA scholarships and gaming programs specifically for gaming athletes. So, and they're considered athletic scholarships.
I mean, that makes sense. I mean, even the military branches have their esports teams, which, I mean, that right there, once the military is is getting into something, you're kind of like, all right, it's probably late to the game, but still it's like a sign like this is pretty serious. I mean, hey, it was FaZe, the FaZe clan, which is an extremely, I don't know, they annoy me, but yeah, I can't deny that they are extremely successful and good at their games. Huge on, probably one of the largest, if not the largest, gaming clan in esports.
Oh,
they're coming to Web3.
They're in Web3. No, they're already in Web3. Let's see, Frank. No, but PJ brought up some really good points. But I was just going to say Frank, probably one of the largest Web3 names to be indicted into FaZe. I say Fozzy, just because of the way it's spelled with the capital F and the capital Z. It looks like Fozzy, so I'm going to say Fozzy.
It does.
Yeah.
You'd be wrong, but it does.
But the thing, Web3 gaming, man, and me and Gray, we talk about this a lot on the back end. There's already been a ton of these massive airdrop campaigns. Like this Ape Iron thing is nothing new to the space. We've seen Blast come in. We've seen Shrapnel come in. We've seen so many different massive gaming industry. I mean, GRX happened, probably about 2 months ago. I'm sorry, GRC, one of the largest gaming conferences that goes on in Miami, Florida. And a lot of the people in the space were talking about, this Blast Gold that's going around. We're already seeing some of these esport things come over. I don't know if anybody in here has seen Final, or what's it called? Fantasy Top. It's pretty much like fantasy influencer trading card game, like Web3 influencer trading card game. It's got everybody from like Shaw to Frank to the founders of MFR, Sartoshi, like all those people, and you can go in and pretty much buy cards on these people and play, final, or what's it called? Fantasy football type of deal, but it's with influencers. So it's funny, right? Like the gamification is all around us, but to me, it's all about who's going to be, who's going to take the cake here. And there's so many different competitors to each other that my underlying bets are in the technology that a lot of these games are built on, which are, things like Polygon, things like AVAX, things like HBAR, like those kinds of blockchains, rather than trying to go in and find a specific PFP that I think is going to 10x, or 100x or whatever it might be. Because I still think a lot of those blockchains, because it's just, there's so many options, and I'm not that deep into the gaming industry in this space anyway. So I couldn't confidently make a good conviction play over there. But I think the underlying technology is always a good play. And I do think gaming is going to be one of the big things that brings the next massive wave of adoption into this space once we start getting the gamers to move over. But then it comes back to what Gray says all the time when we get in these arguments, which is, how are we going to get people to spend a few $100s on a profile picture or a character that they play when the game is also a few $100s, and then every upgrade is a few $100s. Those microtransactions can get very dangerous very quickly. So interesting to see, more of these massive campaigns being ran. And yeah, very excited, because I mean, there's a massive amount of farmers out here right now that are just here for the gaming side of it. So it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out.
Well, I'm going to go back to my usual argument whenever it comes to this, and that is, as a lifelong gamer, one thing that Web3 gaming is going to always have a problem with is mainly two things: acceptance in distribution platforms like Steam. Steam, a couple of years ago, 2 or 3 years ago, removed all NFT related games from their platforms because as far as they're concerned, it's an extremely slippery slope whenever it comes to legality and gambling charges, and also just the overall hatred from the gaming community, which directly goes into my second point is the gaming community itself is already being bled for penny and penny and penny for microtransactions and ever increasing game prices. They used to be $50, then $60, $70. Now we're seeing $80, $90, $100 game drops, and they're not even completed. You know, to get the full game, you usually have to wait 6 months and another $40, $50 DLC later. So whenever, and people are being, you know, extremely aggressive about those kind of marketing tactics. And so whenever it comes to Web3 gaming and these very expensive, almost pay-to-play aspects, and also pay-to-win aspects that mostly that would be viewed as such by the gaming community, that's going to be a huge hurdle to overcome. Which I think that whenever it comes to Web3 gaming, what's going to be successful is what we usually say about mass adoption, is that these games are probably going to end up utilizing blockchain and more specifically NFT tech behind the scenes to help facilitate the transactions or inventory space or item management within the game servers and the game files themselves, rather than actually utilizing the monetary approach of NFTs. They're probably just going to be categorizing, you know, your, hey, I just killed a monster and a sword, really cool sword dropped. It'll be as if, you know, the usual game, you pick it up, you use it, blah, blah, blah. But internally or on the back end of things, that sword is classified as an NFT and can be traded as such on an in-game market like in RuneScape or something. I think that once they start adding the monetary approach, a lot of people are going to be extremely antagonistic towards that, just because in the gaming community, pay to win, pay to play, and microtransactions and large scale DLC or things like that, they're not viewed very favorably. But I have a lot of hope for it. I'm just, as a gamer, I know the culture, and I'm very hesitant. However, that's that's honestly a prime time we should do later on. So moving on with more green energy in mind, El Salvador has just mined 474 Bitcoin using geothermal volcanic energy, which now raises their current Bitcoin holding to 5,750 Bitcoin, worth approximately $354 million, which they have accumulated over 3 years. They have been a pretty pro-cryptocurrency country since 2021, and constantly making headline news for their adoption and their legal and a lot of their legal rulings involving the entirety of it all. So it was mined with the power from the country's, now I'm going to hopefully don't butcher this, Tecapa volcano, using 300 mining processors. The country has allocated 1.5 megawatts to cryptocurrency mining out of the 102 megawatts produced by the state-owned power plants, according to Reuters. In the face of increasing scrutiny over Bitcoin mining's reliance on electricity and fossil fuels, El Salvador emerged a pioneer with renewable energy mining. And honestly, pretty impressive, to be honest. They were like, hey, this is a pretty expensive and energy demanding thing that can, you know, pollute the environment with all these non-renewable resources being shoved into it. They were like, well, bet. And they found geothermal in a volcano, which in itself is pretty cool. So, and this isn't the first time that they've made headlines like this. In 2021, like I said earlier, they made history by becoming the first country to adopt Bitcoin as a legal tender alongside the US dollar. Since then, the government adopted several Bitcoin-focused policies, including establishing the geothermal plants to mine Bitcoin. So this is pretty cool. I think that it's a step, an inspirational step towards the good side of my crypto mining, we'll have to see later. However, now we're in the end of our usual space, and that usually means one thing, and that is updates on the legal side of things. Now, one of those updates is the usual SEC shenanigans, and that is the headline of the day that kind of made me laugh. Will Ethereum be declared a security by the SEC next week? It's unlikely, analysts say, but it is tiring to constantly have to be reminded that Gary Gensler and those weird beady eyes are constantly looking at Web3 and trying to see how he can fuck with it in new and annoying ways. So the SEC is trying to assert that Ethereum is a security in the expected rejections of several spot Ethereum ETF applications this past Tuesday. So the regulator is due to decide on VanEck's application for such a product on May 23rd, followed by a final decision deadline for ARK Invest /21 shares application the next day. BlackRock, Fidelity, and Grayscale also have applications on the SEC's desk. The SEC put forth potential grounds for the disapproval of BlackRock's application and NASDAQ's proposal to list BlackRock's product. One question the SEC posed in its notice is whether NASDAQ properly filed its proposal under the exchange's rules for so-called commodity-based trust shares, requiring that trust hold a specified commodity. Scott Johnson, a general partner at Van Buren Capital, described the question's inclusion as telling. Quote, the obvious purpose is to potentially deny on the basis that these spot filings are improperly filed as commodity-based trust shares and do not qualify if they are holding a security. I hate the SEC. Gensler and his team, they're political animals, he said, arguing that the political backdrop surrounding crypto has grown too tense for a move that would likely spark backlash from the crypto-friendly politicians, including former President Donald Trump. Following the SEC's approval, the spot Bitcoin ETFs in January hopes that the Ethereum ETFs will get the same treatment have plummeted. In the blockchain-based prediction platform Polymarket, traders penciled in a pessimistic 16% chance the ETFs are approved this month. God. Oh, Gensler. Oh, man, I hope you step on all the Legos. Oh, my goodness. May you wake up to get water at 2 a.m. and stub your toe on every corner that you have in your house. PJ, what up?
I just had to drop real quick. I just wanted, before I head out, I wanted to just say, does this mean that we're not going to have any NFT and crypto events in New York City anymore, or states that are not crypto friendly? That might be a good start.
Oh God, I've been fearing that. You know, it's always baffled me that NFT NYC is in the state that literally is probably the most, predatory and anti Web3. Like, it's always just like it's the irony is palpable. I always think that every year we're going to get that notice. Hey, it's canceled. NFT NYC is no longer hosted in New York. It's going to be in Chicago or Miami or Austin. I could see it being in Austin as well, to be honest. But either way, it's one of those things where I do think that we're possibly heading towards something like that. Now, with other updates, we're actually going to be looking at Solana. Solana dev confesses to stealing and gambling away Cypher user funds. The theft includes over $314,674 in USDT, USDC, and Solana. The Cypher protocol contributor Hoek confessed to stealing nearly $500,000 in community funds to feed a growing gambling habit in a public statement on Twitter on Tuesday. I like how people are still calling it Twitter. It kind of warms my heart, in all honesty. I know likely nothing I say or do will make things better, perhaps rather than rotting in jail. The pseudonymous developer wrote, to address the elephant in the room, the allegations are true. I took the funds and gambled them away. I didn't run away with it, nor did anyone else. I mean, at least he was honest, and at least it was clear, and there's only really one path forward. Got to say, definitely going to be looking at further updates on this, and we'll hopefully be covering this in later installments. Now, as usual, people, it has been nothing short of a delight, especially with everyone's contributions. Thank you, PJ. Thank you, Glencora. It has been an absolutely wonderful edition of the art, AI, Web3, gaming, you name it. We cover the news. We cover the latest happenings. Remember out there, we've got some things going on in PPN. Join the Discord. Go follow us on YouTube. That thing is popping, people. Go look at the Spotlight Artists articles that we come out every week on our Medium and enjoy them. Go explore art. Go maybe touch grass and then draw the grass. Who knows? Who cares? Go enjoy life. It's a whole beautiful artistic world out there. And as always, find your inspiration at
where your dreams take flight. Unlock your visions in pixels of light. Find your inspiration at Pixel Pollination. Craft your masterpiece.